Hi, welcome back. My name's Ash. I'm one of the owners and head instructors at AirYoga here. I'm a professional aerialist of both duo straps and solo straps. One of the things we've tried to do here is take many of the things that we've had to travel very far away to learn and spend a lot of money to learn, and try and bring it back and make it applicable to regular people. So one of the things that people often tell me is that it looks quite intimidating, the things that you see on stage. It looks amazing, it looks superhuman, but we're sort of here to tell you that it's actually a really fun way to train, and it's fully regressible so that you can start right from the ground up and learn all the way to some of that really cool stuff at the end. So the sequence that you're about to see is sort of the building blocks, again, building that movement vocabulary to bulletproof your body to make sure it's ready for some more rigorous acrobatic activity. Guys, this next sequence is going to be working on some of our, well, it's actually going to be incorporating our whole body. So we're going to be targeting our core, our arms, our legs, both strengthening and a little bit of flexibility as well. So Steph is here helping us again. Thank you, Steph. So what she's going to do is she's going to turn to face the hammock first, away from the camera, and she's going to pop her right leg into the hammock, bunched up at her ankle. So we've got what we call the poles of the fabric there now. So she's got her left and right pole. She's going to take her right hand and she's going to grab her left pole. She's going to turn to the left, and as she does, she bends her knee underneath her to come facing forward again. Now her leg's underneath her, and we're going to start again with our pelvic tilt. So she's going to tilt her pelvis as much as she can to the front, and again, hollowing in through the chest. So one of the ways you can practice at home trying to hollow that chest or find that position is if Steph again traces her rib line just underneath her sternum. She takes a deep breath in, inflates her chest on the exhale, tries to draw her chest away from her fingers. That gets that nice retracted position. So her back should be flush with the silks now, so we don't even want a gap at the lower back. She wants to be tucking in until we can't feel a gap under the lower back. So from here she's just sitting herself back, and she should actually be starting to feel a stretch along the front of the hip flexors and the quad, depending on how flexible you are. So if she wants to increase the stretch, what she can do is try and bring her right knee back as much as she can, maintaining the pelvic tilt. And then if she wants more, she can start opening that pelvic tilt, trying to bring that knee further back. You're starting to get a stretch now, Steph? So Steph's starting to feel it now, which is a good place. We're going to try and just hold that for now. So this isn't what you'd call a passive stretch. She's actually having to exert a fair bit of strength to stay there still, and she's still getting the flexibility work. So from here she's going to draw her leg back underneath her. She's going to slide her hands on the inside, and she's going to externally rotate her shoulders, which means her palms are going to face each other. So the reason why we call that an external rotation is biomechanically, if we turned our hands out, that's the shape we want to make. And this is how you want to hold your shoulders, again, for things like handstands and push-ups. So she's grabbed hold of the silks. From here, she's going to keep her weight centered over her left leg, and she's going to push back with her right as much as she can. Once she can't go back any further, she's going to send her weight back into that stretch there. And again, she's not trying to passively hold it. She's still actively pushing against the silks. She's sucking her tummy in. She's reaching up with her arms. She's extending and locking the quad on her left leg. Because she's going to hold that, and then she's going to draw herself back into her center line. Excellent. So again, depending on where she is in relation to her center line, certain moves become more difficult or more easy, and some become actually quite uncomfortable to hold. So what Steph's going to do is she's going to come a hop forward in front of her center line, and that's going to let her proceed with the sequence. So she's going to take her hands out to the side, and again, she's going to go shoulders down and back, away from the ears, and she's going to reach her arms out. Excellent. So in the same way we went back a moment ago, she's going to send her weight back slowly, bending the left knee, coming down chest to the thigh. Excellent. So here, again, it's all the small details that make the difference. So she's pointing her toes, she's trying to lock her right knee, her back is nice and straight, so she's lifting slightly from the shoulders. That gets us a nice flat line. Then she's going to draw her leg in and lift from the shoulders to come back to standing. Excellent. From here, she's going to go down again, coming down chest to thigh, sinking the hips. Excellent. And from here this time, she's going to try and keep herself flat, parallel with the floor, and she's going to try and straighten her left leg straight up. So Steph's actually done an advanced movement there. She's going to go straight up. So she's going to keep her, that's it, parallel, and that's our starting position here. So what we're trying to do here is strengthen the hamstring, strengthen the legs, and also get our balance right. So Steph's balancing, if you can see, her feet are moving quite actively to try and keep herself balanced. She's going to draw her leg in and lift her chest. We'll just give her a quick break. So what we're going to do now is, one of the things we talk about is straight arm or straight leg strength. So what you're going to see that now is a demonstration of that. So Steph's been with us for a little bit, so this is again a bit of a more advanced sequence. She's going to come parallel again. This time she's going to keep her left leg straight. Now if Steph had just started, stop there Steph. If Steph had just started, she would concentrate on just keeping this parallel line and locking this quad. Now, if Steph can lock that quad tight and keep it engaged the entire time, she can start to send her weight back into the hammock, coming down on quite an extreme angle. She's going to hold that and then she's going to squeeze back up, keeping that knee locked. Okay, so this is quite different. You're probably not going to find this in other activities outside circus and gymnastics. Most activities and sports don't require it, but here at AirYoga we believe that you should be able to express your body in multiple types of movement, 360 degrees. So we're going to see that one more time. She's going to come back, again flat back first, and then sending the hips back on a straight leg. Putting the pressure on the knee, much like you would see in a Romanian deadlift or a straight-legged deadlift. Again, lifting the shoulders up, bringing that leg underneath. Excellent. So we're going to come down now, chest to the thigh. Good. She's going to place her hands on either side of her feet, and she's going to take a deep breath in. And now she's going to get a stretch through the hamstring. So she's going to, again, keep the hips nice and low. She pushes her hips back into the silk, and she tries to keep her chest as close as she can to her thigh and trying to lock out through that left leg. She breathes in and comes back, chest to thigh. Good. And as she does, tries to lower her hips again. She's going to do that again. Breathe in and out. Push back. Excellent. Good. And soften the knee, chest to the thigh. So that final position she's in, when her leg is fully extended, ideally what we're trying to get is a point where Steph can start from standing and go all the way down to that full stretch and then all the way back up again. And as you can see from earlier on, she's actually pretty close. So we're going to do it one more time, pushing back, stretching through her hamstring. Good. Again, trying to squeeze that quad tight. By squeezing the quad, she's also going to be relaxing that hamstring. And again, soft in the knee, chest to the thigh. She's going to place her hands in front of her now, and she's going to place her shin on the ground. So it's very important when we're starting to work with straight leg strength to strengthen the hamstrings. Much like when we start working with straight arm strength, we need to make sure that the bicep is strong enough to support the elbow joint. Same thing when we work with the straight legs, we need to make sure that the hamstrings are nice and strong and developed to protect the leg when we start expressing strength through it. Now, from here, Steph's going to place her hands exactly like she would for a handstand. So I'm not sure if we can get a close-up of her hands. What we want to do is we want to make sure her fingers are maximally spread, and then she's going to rotate the whole hand so that the index fingers are facing forward, running parallel with each other. From here, she's going to lock her elbows and externally rotate. So the insides of the elbows are facing the front, and then she's going to protract through the shoulders and shift her weight subtly forward until 70% of the weight is in her fingertips and the knuckles. From here, Steph's going to bring her left knee to her chest, almost like she's trying to touch her knee to her chin. And then she's going to place her knee back down on the ground and rest. So that's our starting point. Okay, we're going to move forward quite quickly. So now we're going to see a sequence of movements that increase the difficulty quite progressively. So if you found that challenging, you want to be staying there until you can do that consistently 5 to 10 times. So the next building block would be protraction through the shoulders again. Knee comes to the chest. We trace the top of the right leg so that both feet are in the hammock, and we come to a suspended plank. So again, now we're placing strength through, placing load through a straight body. We want to make sure the toes are pointed, the knees are locked, her glutes are squeezed, her pelvis is tilted, and her shoulders are protracted. Again, shoulders over the hands. So if we want to increase the difficulty here, we can, and change the exercise, we can tuck the knees into the chest. Again, we're looking for that really tight compression between her thighs and her chest. She's squeezing with her abs, and notice her shoulders are over her hands as well, so the weight's in the fingertips and the knuckles. From here, she can push down into the hammock, locking the knees, and bring her hips over her shoulders, over her hands. So this is quite a good way to build the support structure for our handstand. From here, we can lift one leg up out of the hammock and get even closer to a freestanding handstand. Excellent. And bring the foot back down into the hammock. Good. Beautiful. And then back to straight. Again, a nice straight plank position, and then take the other leg out of the hammock, place the shin on the ground. Excellent. Good. So when we talked about strengthening the hamstring for our straight leg strength, one of the exercises we can do is coming up next. So what we're going to do is Steph's going to take her right hand, she's going to put it under her left so she can turn onto her back, and leaves one leg in the hammock. Good. So from here, she's going to place her other leg in the hammock. And again, because we're going to work with a straight body, she's not going to lift her hips blindly. She's tilted her pelvis to the front again, squeezing her glutes, locked knees, pointed toes. From here, what Steph's going to do is she's going to try and squeeze her heels to her butt, and at the same time, she pulls as if I've got her by the belt and I'm trying to pull her hips this way. Again, trying to open through the hips so she's got a straight line from her knee right down to her shoulder. Then she goes back to straight. And so Steph, can you feel that in the hamstrings? Yes, and the glutes? Excellent. So we'll see that again. Heels to the butt. Notice she keeps that straight line so she doesn't show us the opposite. Go back to straight for me. And tuck the knees to the chest, tuck the knees to the butt. Excellent. So she doesn't go through this shape. She tries to keep straight the entire time. Hips up, one more time. Heels to the butt, stays open. Beautiful. So again, a combination, hips down, a combination of repetition and then static hold at the end is a great way to work. And then from there, Steph can just move her feet gently side to side, taking a bit of the pressure off. Good. And then she brings her legs out of the hammock, and that would be the end of our sequence. Thank you, Steph. So I hope you enjoyed that brief sequence. Thank you very much for joining us through this video. So basically that took you through one of the sequences that we would have done in our class that we perform at our studio, the AirSpace at 626 Newcastle Street. So yeah, if you're interested in coming down to check out some of our classes, we do aerial yoga, or air yoga as we like to call it, because we do have a slightly different bent on it than other people. We do gymnastic rings, handstands, and an air release, which is another class that sort of uses foam rollers in the hammocks. So again, if you want to come down and take advantage of some of the things that Trevor and I have learnt while we were away. So I'm a professional aerialist. Trevor is a physiotherapist. He's worked for Cirque du Soleil and the WA Ballet for numerous years. And as old friends, we sort of came back. When we came back to Perth, we wanted to deliver that information. So I had to spend a lot of money and travel very far away to learn the things that I did. So come on down, take advantage of the fact that we've got some pretty cool stuff going on down here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.